hard living this life.
No, it really is. So I just got a text from my wife. She's it's a text to me and her mom. She said, I'm divorcing Jaceel, Mom. A blog has accused him of cheating on me. So I'm done. Like, that's what I'm dealing with in real life. Like, in real life, see what it says? Yep, the girl who used to work for him. So this is what I'm really dealing with. And that's I'm going to be as transparent as I could be, because this is what happens when you play like this. You play on people's lives. You play on whatever they may be dealing with, and they have to deal with real circumstances. So this is what I'm dealing with this morning. Yeah.
If you thought the drama between young Jock and Kendra was finally over, think again. Because what just came out has completely changed everything. Remember when Kendra discovered that Jock had a secret child while they were planning their wedding?
Well, Jaceel and I have been in this for a real long time. So, and it's a lot of stuff like you guys are seeing this season where, the whole world wasn't privy to, some of the stuff that Jaceel and I was going through, like, or the times we separated or that we were broke up. Even while we were engaged, or even while I was still wearing my ring, we had moments where it just was like not happening. But, and things happened during those times when we weren't together.
That wasn't just a dramatic moment for TV, it was real. And it almost ended their relationship right there. But somehow, they managed to push through, get married, and try to move on. However, just when it seemed like they were starting to get past the chaos, Kendra's pregnancy hit the headlines, and let's just say, it's not what anyone expected. Not too long ago, rumors began circulating that Kendra was pregnant. Initially, fans were excited, hoping this would be a fresh start for her and Jock after everything they had been through. Perhaps this was their moment to move forward and leave the past behind. But, almost immediately after the news broke, things began to take a turn. People started asking questions. Why hadn't Jock made a big announcement? Why was Kendra so quiet about it? Normally, news like this would be a huge deal, especially for a couple that had been fighting to prove their love could survive all the drama.
Because as a man, guess what? I got to stand on mine too.
Yes,
Because guess what? Let me tell you something. I didn't go to college. Guess what?
Fine.
I want my kids to go to college. So we can say that right
good.
now. I don't want them to go that direction. I want them to go to college. I can say that with you too.
Right.
But don't sit here in front of the world, in front of a medium, and say, oh, I wouldn't want my son or your sons to be like you. Hold on. No, you gonna put some respect on my name. Because at the end of the day, I'm successful. I take care of my kids.
Okay.
Ain't none of my kids out here in dire need of love and support.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that. Okay? Because I don't appreciate that. Because there's some things about you that I could say I wouldn't want my daughters to do.
Go ahead.
I'm not
Tell
gonna do
me.
that. I respect you and I love you enough.
I want this magazine to know
no. I
what
respect
it is about
integrity.
me. You don't want your daughter.
I'm not gonna do that.
Like,
I'm not gonna do that.
Be my guest.
I'm not
gonna be
that.
slighted, honey.
I'm not gonna do that. That's where we have to draw the line.
But instead, there was silence. As the silence continued, whispers started spreading. Fans noticed that Jock didn't seem excited about the news at all. In fact, whenever the topic of the pregnancy came up, he either dodged the conversation or looked visibly uncomfortable. Some people speculated that it was because of their past. Maybe Jock felt guilty about all the things he had put Kendra through. But the truth turned out to be something that no one saw coming. Behind the scenes, Jock was reportedly starting to ask questions. The more he looked into things, the more things didn't add up. So, he did what any man in his position would do. He got the proof he needed. That's when the bombshell dropped. A leaked medical report allegedly confirmed that Jock was not the father of Kendra's baby. Let that sink in. After everything Jock had been dragged through because of his past infidelities, his secret children, and Kendra accepting all of that, this time, it wasn't Jock causing the drama, it was Kendra. And if that wasn't bad enough, the real father, allegedly, was someone close to Jock, someone he never expected to betray him like this. At first, people assumed the father might be some random person, but insiders soon revealed that it was much deeper than that. This wasn't just a mistake, it was a full-blown betrayal by someone Jock trusted. So, when Jock found out who it was, his reaction said it all. For young Jock, learning about Kendra's pregnancy should have been a cause for celebration. Instead, it turned into his worst nightmare. and the way he found out made it even worse. Sources say Jock didn't get a private confession from Kendra or hear the news from someone he trusted. Instead, he was blindsided by the truth when he found out through the media just like everyone else. Imagine sitting there, scrolling through your phone, and suddenly seeing headlines about your wife's pregnancy, only to find out in real time that the baby isn't even yours. That's exactly what happened to Jock. And when the reality of the situation set in, his emotions went from shock to full-blown anger. At first, he couldn't believe it. This was Kendra, the woman who had stood by him despite all his mistakes in the past. The woman who had promised she was different from all the others, yet she had done this behind his back. And to make matters worse, she did it with someone he trusted. Jock didn't waste any time. He went straight home to confront Kendra. No cameras, no staged reality TV moment, just him and her, face to face. Witnesses say that voices were raised, emotions were raw, and Kendra, caught completely off guard, had no choice but to come clean. But it wasn't just what Kendra said that made things worse, it was who walked in next. As Jock was processing this shocking news, the man responsible for everything walked right into the situation. And who was it? None other than Kirk Frost.
I don't have to give no explanation to no goddamn body. If you understand, you understand.
Nah, what are you talking about? Like,
that's
how
what it
insensitive is that? You so goddamn big-headed and arrogant. You around here creating babies all over the globe, dropping them off household to household.
All over
you
the globe? What you
ignorant
talking
enough to not actually be able to tell my mama, tell my brother? You should answer them.
I will talk to whoever when I'm ready.
If you've been following the reality TV series Love and Hip Hop, you probably know all about Kirk's history. His marriage to Rashida has been filled with scandals, cheating rumors, outside children, and lies. But getting involved with Kendra? That was on a whole different level of betrayal. For years, Jock and Kirk had been more than just industry colleagues, they were tight. They had been through ups and downs together, sharing laughs, offering advice, and facing challenges as friends. Yet, during all that time, Kirk had allegedly been smiling in Jock's face while sneaking behind his back with Kendra. This was when things took a serious turn for Jock. The betrayal wasn't just painful, it was humiliating. Sources say Jock completely lost it. And honestly, who could blame him? Witnesses claimed that Jock's anger was uncontrollable. He wasn't just yelling, he was throwing things, knocking over furniture, and completely out of control. People nearby said it was the angriest they had ever seen him. Security reportedly had to step in to prevent things from getting physical, as it seemed like Jock was ready to fight. But here's where it gets even worse. While Jock was losing his temper, Kirk, allegedly, stood there completely unfazed. There was no guilt, no apology, nothing. In fact, some sources claim that Kirk even smirked, as if he had won some twisted game. Kendra, on the other hand, was just as calm. There were no tears, no begging for forgiveness. She stood there like she had already made up her mind about how this was going to play out. Meanwhile, while Jock was spiraling, Kirk and Kendra were already moving on to their next move. As soon as this story hit social media, the internet went crazy. Everyone had something to say. One person commented, "This is wild." Jock is usually the one in the hot seat, but now the tables have turned. Kendra really played him. Another person added, "Not Kirk Frost inserting himself into more drama. Rashida must be tired. Jock better expose everything because this is beyond messy." For all of Jock's past messy situations, many were wondering if this was just karma catching up to him. Was this his turn to experience what he had put others through? While the internet debated, Jock was already thinking about his next steps. Sources say he's considering legal action, though it's still unclear exactly what that would look like. Maybe a divorce. Maybe something even bigger. Either way, Jock was not going to let this go.
I felt like after we made our vows to move forward, that we won't even bring any of this up.
I didn't bring it up. People bringing it up to me. And then I'm hearing stuff about the Mita lady. I've heard about this lady, Mita, before. Jaceel has mentioned her to me before. The way it was told to me is that it was an old bone out of his old closet. Nothing during the time we were together. So I'm like, what is the deal?
I have not messed with Mita.
This girl standing up talking about she been messing with you consecutively, years broken up apart, but all them years she described was when I was in your life. Quit playing.
Meanwhile, Kirk and Kendra didn't seem fazed at all. Allegedly, the two have been spotted out together as if they aren't facing major backlash. No hiding, no shame, just living their lives like nothing ever happened. But the big question remains, is this the end of Jock and Kendra's story, or is there still more to come? When news of Kendra's betrayal broke, the entire industry seemed to pick sides. This wasn't just some private relationship drama anymore, it had become a full-blown reality TV scandal. Some of Jock's closest friends in the music and reality TV world immediately spoke out in his defense. They called out Kirk for breaking the unspoken codes of loyalty, respect, and boundaries. Scrappy, who has been close with Jock for years, was one of the first to react. Though he didn't say much, his social media posts were loud and clear. He liked shady comments about betrayal and posted cryptic messages about fake friends. However, not everyone stood with Jock. Some people stayed silent, while others even defended Kendra and Kirk. A few insiders hinted that Jock wasn't exactly an innocent victim here, suggesting that his past behavior might have played a part in pushing Kendra into someone else's arms. Then there were the fans. The internet dug deep into Kendra's past, and what they found made people question her motives. Some suggested that Kendra had always been calculating, manipulating her way through Jock's past scandals and maneuvering their marriage into the spotlight. The big question remained, did she ever truly love Jock, or was he just another step in her climb to success? But just when things seemed like they couldn't get any messier, Jock did something no one saw coming. After staying quiet for a while, people assumed he was processing everything. Maybe he was figuring out how to handle the situation privately. But when he finally spoke out, it wasn't what anyone expected. Instead of letting his emotions control him, Jock played it smart. He started preparing for a tell-all interview, one that would lay everything out on the table: Kendra's past, Kirk's history, and even some shocking receipts that Jock had been holding on to. But that wasn't all. Behind the scenes, Jock was allegedly building a legal case. Insiders claim he was gathering proof to hit both Kirk and Kendra where it would hurt the most. Whether that meant a divorce settlement, financial payback, or even exposing some business deals that Kirk wouldn't want made public, Jock was planning his next big move. Rumors also started circulating that Jock had one last card up his sleeve, something that could change the game entirely. But what was it? And would it be enough to get the closure he deserved? Jock's next move is what everyone is waiting for. Will he fight back with everything he's got, exposing Kendra and Kirk for what they did? Or will he decide it's not worth the energy and just walk away? No matter what he decides, one thing is certain: this situation has already changed his public image. Some see him as the victim of a heartbreaking betrayal, while others think it's karma coming back to him. Either way, this drama isn't just personal, it's playing out in front of millions, and how Jock handles it could define his next chapter. In the end, this whole situation is a reminder of how messy trust and betrayal can get, especially when reality TV and fame are involved. Relationships built in the spotlight rarely survive, and when they fall apart, it's never quiet. But now, I want to hear from you. Should Jock forgive Kendra and move on, or is it time to cut ties for good? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to subscribe to this channel for more videos.